So, hello and welcome back to another episode of the Self-Development with Tactics podcast. Today is a strange day. Started out pretty productive. In the meantime, getting pretty angry because of, I don't actually know. But now we're gonna go ahead with some quotes again and basically see where they are leading us and where we're gonna head. I'm just gonna start with one from Vincent van Gogh. I would rather die of passion than of boredom. Yeah, I would do so as well. There's nothing that I hate more than boredom and feeling like that, well, whatever the fuck I'm doing is non-essential. And it is just something that it is just something that I do. I don't like that. I don't like not having a purpose of why I'm doing certain things. And in the past few, I think months, I would say, I really had some periods of time where I felt incredibly bad because of that, because of the fact that I did a ton of things, but it just didn't make any sense. Why did I do those things? There was no particular reason for why I did them. And it made me feel bad, as you can imagine, and actually pretty bad, because when you don't have any purpose, when there is no reason why you're doing something, when there is no, at least you think there is no reason why you're doing something, it's just feeling bad. It's just not feeling great, and then you're not feeling great, and nothing is amazing, and so on and so forth. Like, having purpose in life, knowing why you're doing certain things, makes a huge change. And it's going to make your life way fucking better. And as funny as it is, but it often just comes to how you think about things. At this point in time, I figured out that helping other people and being nice and being kind can be viewed, at least by me, as some sort of a goal and or purpose. Okay, I'm going to do this and that and these and those just because it is going to help somebody. Okay, I'm going to do my job as well as I can because it's going to help somebody. It's going to help my boss, it's going to help the other people that I'm working with, and so on and so forth. Like, this gave me some sort of reason why I'm doing things, and yeah. But I've also seen that, reading certain books and really choosing your time, like doing things that make sense. Of course, you can't be quote-unquote productive all the fucking day, but I would also argue that not being productive from time to time is also productive. And not even from time to time, like every single day. Rushing around doing this and that and these and those. Why is this going to help? Why should this help? Burning yourself out and then feeling incredibly bad. Why would you? It doesn't make any fucking sense. So resting and doing things that are active rest, which for me, for example, means, okay, I'm gonna watch a YouTube video, I'm gonna watch some anime, I'm gonna play some video games, I'm gonna do whatever. But it is fine. It really is tremendously fine because it gives me enough energy for the next day, for example, so that I can do even more and that I can do something and that I can be productive again and do things that are really productive, that are getting me further and so on. So rest is also productive. This is my point here. One by Zig Ziglar. People often say that motivation doesn't last. Well, neither does bathing. That is why we recommend it daily. Yeah, makes sense. Just getting your head right. And even though this is some sort of two-edged sword, if you know what I mean, because, he was a motivational speaker. And so it really does make sense to suggest people to listen to something or to consume something and do something every single day, which I think in the long term is going to just make him more money. On one hand. On the other hand, it also just makes sense because of his analogy that he made. Of course, motivation is not going to last forever, unless it is something really intrinsic and it is purpose or it becomes purpose, I would argue, but, another topic there. But the regular quote-unquote motivation, I think it really does make sense to listen to something, to read something, to talk to somebody every single fucking day, even multiple times a day, so that you can get your head right. A successful man is one who can lay a firm foundation with the bricks others have thrown at him. By David Brinkley. Yeah. I don't know. Like, at least I would say, if you're building a house and somebody throws a brick, you shouldn't be discouraged by, and or at least you should have built your house that strong that nobody's going to be able to destroy it. I think this makes more sense than to, well, it both makes sense, but when you get hurt and or when you're trying to use other people's bricks, other people's words, other people's whatever to grow yourself, first of all, kind of means that you kind of need negativity. Okay, I need other people to just say some dumb shit to me just because I'm then gonna use it and build a house out of it, and or I'm just gonna use it as energy. But what about just not giving a fuck about what anybody thinks about you? Which means, okay, they're gonna throw the biggest fucking rock they can get. They're not gonna destroy my house, and or not even my foundation. They're not gonna be able to destroy one brick that I'm laying. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't. But why would I rely on other people's bad behavior, if this makes sense? There's something else to it, but I'm not able to verbalize it now. Anyway, an invincible determination can accomplish almost anything, and in this lies the great distinction between great man and little man. Yeah, drive and being determined to do something is incredibly strong. It's a pretty strong emotion and or way of living or something. You know what I mean? But yeah, on the other hand, if you're not having this determination, then you're also not going to be like that. Of course, it makes sense, but this determination does not come from just nothing. I think that people are determined because it is about something they love. It is about something they are passionate about. It is about something they appreciate. It's a really strong feeling, and the strong feeling is probably based on something that they're feeling strong about. I'm not going to be determined to smoke as many cigarettes as I can because I don't smoke and I don't give a shit about that. I'm not going to be determined. There's not going to be any drive. There's no reason for me to do so. On the other hand, obviously, there's also going to be some reasons for some people that are not, they do not have any drive to work out because they just don't like to work out. And maybe they just don't like resistance training, but they're pretty determined to run the fastest marathon they can, and so on and so forth. Like, it depends on you. It depends on your character, who you are, what you appreciate, what you're passionate about, and so on and so forth. Yada, yada, yada. Enter every activity without giving mental recognition to the possibility of defeat. Concentrate on your strengths instead of your weaknesses, on your powers instead of your problems. By Paul J. Mayer. Yeah, I would say so as well, even though being aware of your weaknesses is something to do anyways. It's not gonna inhibit your abilities in any way, but you should just know that you have certain weaknesses. I'm not that. I really am not into not knowing my weaknesses. I am treating them like a part of me. I'm seeing them, and I also communicate them. Like, okay, this is something that I'm not good at. This is one of my weaknesses, and I'm totally fine with that because it is what it is. It is a weakness. For example, I'm just horrible at writing in German, in terms of grammatics, in terms of spelling, and so on and so forth. Like, I'm just bad at it, but it is fine, and I'm fine with it. Because there is just a ton of things that I'm good at, and I don't necessarily care about my weaknesses. It is just something that I know. It is something that I'm aware of, and so because of that awareness, I'm probably not going to pick an author as my job. Maybe at least not in German. In English, it is something different, as funny as it sounds, but I'm doing better at English than I do, I think, at German in terms of writing and also in terms of comparing myself to people my age, I would say, and my education, and so on. Give yourself an even greater challenge than the one you are trying to master, and you will develop the powers necessary to overcome the original difficulty. Yeah, just makes sense, you know? Having a challenge that is greater than the original one is just gonna make you work even harder, which then makes sense that you're gonna be able to crush that original one because you have been training for something way more difficult. It's the same analogy as, okay, I'm gonna shoot for the moon and not the stars, because the possibility of me hitting the stars if I shoot for the moon is gonna be way higher. And I'm just vice versa. If I shoot for the stars, but really hope that I'm gonna hit the moon is, chances are pretty minor, they're pretty close to zero, because I'm not fucking shooting for the moon. Which is also one of the reasons, like, if you're trying to get a specific grade in a specific subject, it makes way more sense to go for the A or the A instead of going for a C, even though you're fine with a C. But if you're going for an A, then the chance of you hitting an A, B, or C is way higher than when you go for the C already or from the beginning on. Nurture your mind with great thoughts. To believe in the heroic makes heroes. And with that being said, I'm going to end the episode. Bye bye.